Welcome back to the channel, y'all. It's your boy, the Hip Hop Lobbyist. Man, listen. It's election night in America. I've been on the road the past 2 days. I've been working the past 2 weeks really hard, trying to get a lot of things together for my clients, for some other things. But got to this point tonight in America where I think a lot of eyes should be open in the Democratic Party, especially among Black voters. But I don't want to waste too much of your time. We're going to get into it. Let me hop into some of these early news about this election night.
Celebration in Dallas County today due to new Election Day guidelines. There's even a call to extend voting hours in the county because so many voters are being turned away. Our Steve Pickett's live at the Oaklawn Library with what happened here. Steve.
Well, I can tell you it has been quite the day just at this very precinct regarding this issue here. And over my shoulder here at the Oaklawn Library, you can see people are already still lining up, trying to get in. We now know as of 3:30, more than 500 people tried to vote here. 250 of them did. 250 have been sent to other locations. They cannot vote here. That is one of the concerns. There is now a call, as you mentioned, to extend voting hours because hundreds have apparently tried to vote at the wrong precincts. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, she was at this location today. She wants to extend the voting day, she says. She and others showed up here at this library for voting, saw that close to those post 200 people were sent away from this polling site because this is not their voting precinct. Those numbers come from precinct workers. The numbers that we have, 4 precinct locations we visited today here in the Dallas County area had a growing list of people unable to vote at those locations.
You
have to go to your neighborhood precinct. You are now required to vote at that neighborhood voting precinct. Now, more than once today, voters not only found themselves searching for their political party line for voting, several were told they were at the wrong location. And party separation at the polls, they weren't happy with that either.
Yeah, it's an inconvenience because I got my card, I got my info, like I drove here, I'm ready to vote, you know, so I should just be able to vote. Like, it's the same ballots, you know, same process, so location shouldn't matter.
It was a little surprising to see you being faced off with the person voting opposite to you, so it was strange for sure, but I've never seen that before.
That's a big step back to me. That sounds very much of a big step back in the world. We should all be able to do the same thing in the same place, regardless.
Again, just a modicum of an indication, if you will, from some of the voters today about their frustration. Some folks didn't like the fact that they had to announce if they were Republican or Democrat. And again, a number of people who simply went to one precinct thinking they could vote, they could not. Jasmine Crockett saying the effort to suppress the vote. That's what she's called regarding all of this concern. She has said she has reached out to the Dallas Democratic Party to see if you can extend voting hours on this evening. We've not heard back from Dallas County regarding that matter. Polls still open until 7 o'clock. Busy day, obviously a busy day here in Dallas County, but concerned about where you can vote.
Confusion and frustration in Dallas County today due to
a live update on the numbers here.
Something else? Oh, we got more South Texas. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a bunch of small updates.
Yeah.
Fast drop.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now, that's the big one.
There's certain counties, Talarico is kicking ass.
Oh, okay.
What's he talking about?
Folks, they're going to Ken Paxton. Okay, so we're gonna just pick this up. Have we got any new numbers in any of the House races since we were last talking to the live stream folks?
No.
Worse than me right now.
And do we have? I'm just looking at the decision desk notes here, things I can share with people. A couple of things quickly we haven't gotten to. Texas Attorney General.
No word about that. What I'm seeing here is James Talarico's up a solid 5 points. I would say 76,000 votes. It's gonna be a long night in Texas, I'll tell you that, man. I think they say Jasmine Crockett was just speaking. Let's check her out, see what the commentary is.
If you're in line
Let's listen
by
in for just a
7,
second here, because obviously this Dallas development is critical to her campaign.
and so once there was a court order saying you had until 9, I'm sure that there were people that joined the line after 7. They now are telling them that you have to separate the votes out. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied from Election Day out of Dallas County. For sure, we won't know that tonight. So knowing that Dallas County is a big dump of votes, we, in my opinion, will not know the election results overall tonight. We need to see the Dallas County votes to see where they are. I mean, if the early vote comes in, which we may have the early vote soon, if it comes in and I'm losing Dallas County, then we know kind of where this thing is going. So, so that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So I love y'all too.
Wow.
For being here.
That was extraordinary. Dramatic out of developments here out of Dallas County.
Extraordinary. All she said was that they're not having the results tonight. I mean, I'm not gonna get my bandwagon yet. I'm not gonna get my soapbox yet. Excuse me. It's almost like Hillary and Kamala. This could be the trifecta. It'll be like, hey, even if you lose, why you don't make your speech on election night? There's a lot of people in the building. That's neither here nor there. Let's see what the rest of they talk about. We still waiting on some results to come
Jasmine Crockett, and I want to get straight to Steve Kornacki on this, because Steve, I think the question now, and you heard her lay this out, she says if we don't have the results in Dallas, where she's expected to do fairly well, a stronghold for her, we don't have the votes for tonight. So let me ask you, I don't know if we know, will the vote in Dallas make enough of a difference at this point in the race?
We just got the vote from Dallas. Now, we don't know if this is that whole issue of the 2-hour window you're talking about. So I want to say that, before I show you this, but we did get a substantial amount of vote in Dallas. This is the early vote. So I don't know what's going to happen in Dallas County after this, but this is the early vote. This is the vote cast before Election Day, okay, about 60%, and give or take of what the total will be. Crockett winning this by 22 points here. Now, that is a difference of 43,000 votes over Talarico. What that does statewide, you can see that Talarico number back down to 70,000. It had crept there up, over 110,000. In fact, she just gathered some more votes somewhere else, and it ticked down a little. But you see it going down to 70,000. But it is still a 70,000 vote advantage statewide for Talarico, and that early vote out of Dallas is, we think, well over half the total vote. Whatever it ends up being, we think it's well over than half. She was able to net 43,000 plurality with well over half of it, and she still trails statewide by 70,000 votes. So even if the rest of the vote in Dallas County came in and looked just like that, she would still be well short here of that margin that Talarico has built. I want to say I've been, our audience on streaming tonight, we have been showing benchmarks for these candidates as the counties have come in. Are they hitting the numbers they need to hit? The number we had established in Dallas County for Jasmine Crockett was 70%. This is 61%. This is her home county.
70%.
This is her base here. This is where she needs to drive up the number. So in the early vote here, she's short of that. Now, again, did she have a flood of support same day? Were there ballots cast between 8 and 10 o'clock that we, there are some issues here that are above my pay grade to address. But the early vote here, I think for Crockett is 61%. She wants to be near 70 here, not near 60. And meanwhile, what we've seen happen statewide, again, we were saying this, while we sort of focus on Dallas for Crockett, we have been watching Talarico in different corners of the state start to pad this plurality. So I think the last time I was on with you, he brought El Paso in. I'm not sure if you had seen, but Hidalgo County came in. We knew this was going to be big for Talarico the way South Texas was going. This is where McAllen is, and it was big for Talarico. Another giant one that we're waiting on that I think is going to be massive for Talarico is Williamson County, this right outside Austin. Again, this is the heart of his political base. So you saw Crockett put a dent in it with Dallas's vote. We think that's more than half the vote out of Dallas County. It leaves Talarico ahead by 70 with opportunities across this map to build on that 70. And that leaves whatever's left in Dallas. And again, there's a question here of what's left in Dallas. But whatever it is, it does not appear that there's enough there, to be putting a dent in this. She would need something from somewhere else to give her the extra. She would need a big flood of same-day support somewhere else. It's not just going to come from Dallas.
Which I think is kind of politics 101. I've never ran a statewide race. I've done more congressional races, but running statewide, I would assume that, you just can't assume or bank everything on one city, one county. It's kind of crazy, but even from that, I'll go to the Emerson poll that we talked about on our Substack. My Substack, hiphoplobbyists.substack, is that the polls showed that college-educated Democrats over 40 were leaning towards James Talarico. Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans in Texas, overpopulated, overly support, 12-plus points, and it's kind of going true. It's really crazy. I would say it's really crazy. Let me move my mic closer. Because the popularity Jasmine Crockett has had since the Marjorie Taylor Greene incident and the attacks on Trump, and really making every commentary viral, every commentary, having the weekly YouTube sessions, live streams, where people have fallen in love with her. Hey, you should run for president. You should run for this. You should run for that. The problem ends up being, as I see it, my political perspective here, you end up having white donors who prop up black candidates to run for offices that they know they can't win. I wouldn't even say white candidates, white donors, progressives, the super liberals. And I really feel like they are the ones who said, you know what, it's better to run statewide than run in this redraw, this redrawn district. But even in the case of it, when we put you in a position to run statewide, we'll put you on Rachel Maddows. We'll put you on all the MSNBC shows. But we're not going to vote for you. Not our Hispanic brothers, not our white brothers, not our white sisters, not our Hispanic sisters. You only get, in this case, as the polls shown in some aspect, black voters, which are strong enough in Texas, but that's not enough to win it all. That's why that bedrock comment, black women are the base of the Democratic Party. This should be an eye-opening sign. Because my theory, before we get to Rachel Maddow, my theory is this. The Supreme Court is watching. They heard the Louisiana versus Calais case. They said that white Democrats and Hispanic Democrats do not prefer African-American or black candidates as their preference, especially in majority minorities districts, right? I think the Texas race will prove that. And then the Supreme Court will then rule on the Voting Rights Amendment or the Voting Rights Act to potentially remove that provision. You don't believe me? We'll see when the Supreme Court gets to it, man.
Out of Texas, as we continue to watch the Democratic U.S. Senate primary there. As you see, this is what we've got right now. 45% of the vote in. James Talarico leading Jasmine Crockett right now, 53 to roughly 46%. But again, less than half the vote in. And one of the things we've been watching closely all night since we first sat down at this desk is the question of Dallas County. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett represents a district in Dallas. And Dallas County has had problems with the administration of their election today. We've been explaining that over the course of the night. I'm going to go right now to Evan Smith, who's the host of Overheard with Evan Smith on Austin PBS. He's a veteran observer of Texas politics. He's got 30 years experience doing that. And Evan, I'd like you to explain to us again what had happened earlier today in Dallas County, why things have been chaotic there, and now this new reporting about a judge's order about the extension of voting there.
Right. So as we talked about earlier, Rachel, the Republican Party in Dallas County decided they did not want to have countywide elections. They wanted to make people go to their assigned polling place locally. And if the Republicans say you can't have countywide, then the Democrats can't have countywide. So Democratic voters showed up thinking they were going to be able to vote at the places around the county they had voted, and they were turned away. And there was a big push to try to extend voting in Dallas County as a result of that, to give those people an opportunity to vote after all. A Dallas judge ordered the polls open until 9. Well, Attorney General Ken Paxton asked the Texas Supreme Court within the last couple of hours to overturn the Dallas judge's ruling. And according to reporting from my former colleague Eleanor Klibanoff of the Texas Tribune, the Texas Supreme Court has just temporarily blocked that judge's order to keep the polls open.
Hold on, my bad, y'all. I didn't realize my shit froze up. My bad. I wasn't watching my setup. Hold on. Probably lost some people there. My apologies. Wasn't checking the chat or not. Gotta reset this. My bad on that. Let's go back to what he was saying. There's some good content here. Good context to everything. I went back a couple seconds.
And they were turned away, and there was a big push to try to extend voting in Dallas County as a result of that, to give those people an opportunity to vote after all. A Dallas judge ordered the polls open until 9. Well, Attorney General Ken Paxton asked the Texas Supreme Court within the last couple of hours to overturn the Dallas judge's ruling.
Crazy.
And according to reporting from my former colleague Eleanor Klibanoff of the Texas Tribune, the Texas Supreme Court has just temporarily blocked that judge's order to keep the polls open until 9, ordering the county to separate out the votes from people who were not in line at 7 o'clock. This throws a monkey wrench into the vote count in Dallas County. Whether those votes are going to count or not, we have no idea what's going to happen. It's a temporary ruling, but goodness, this is a mess, Rachel. It was already a mess. It's more of a mess now.
It's kind of crazy to hear that they didn't allow countywide elections in Dallas. So if you're Republican, you had to go to your precinct. Democrat, you had to go to your precinct. And now, with all of this nonsense, you really see that the Republicans are playing chess in this shit at all times. There's never a moment where Republicans are saying, yeah, we're playing tonk. No, they're playing chess. Because the way they end up doing this could not only discourage people from going to vote, but also who wants to stand in line with 200 or 300 people, especially through early voting for like a week and a half. Crazy. I feel personally that early voting, absentee voting, and election day voting, like the early voting specifically, really doesn't do the job it's supposed to do. I'm not saying take it away. I feel it's needed, but people aren't actually going to vote then. I think two scenarios happen, to be honest. People aren't voting during early voting like enough to where election day still has a major turnout. Or election day has a huge turnout because nobody showed up during early voting or absentees. So we'll see. We're going to go back to some live stuff. Let me finish hearing and get an update of what the Supreme Court is saying. First time here, I mean, what hip hop lobbyist. It's been a long day. I was in South Florida this morning. Been on the road the past 2 days. Just got back. It's election night, so I have a stream here. But I appreciate y'all tapping in, man.
This is a pause of the vote extension in Dallas County. Are people being stopped from voting right now?
What I know is that the county is being told you have to take the votes that were cast in the last 2 hours. It's coming up upon that 9 o'clock hour central here in Texas right now. You have to take the votes that were cast by people who are not in line at 7 o'clock, push them to the side, and the fate and the status of those votes is now unknown. And of course, if you're Jasmine Crockett, you're thinking this is terrible for you because this is the county where you're going to hopefully roar back into contention in this race.
And this is as you said, it was a Dallas judge who ordered the extension of voting in Dallas County. And then it was U.S. Senate candidate and sitting Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton who asked for an individual state Supreme Court judge to weigh in and essentially overturn that other judge's ruling?
Ask the Supreme Court of Texas if they would come in and temporarily block that Dallas judge's order, and the Supreme Court came back and said, yes, we temporarily block it.
Do we know, is it multiple judges on the Texas Supreme Court, or is it one judge's ruling?
I mean, I don't know whether it was one judge or multiple, but my sense is that the court institutionally, as opposed to one assigned justice individually, but that's something we'll determine here in the course of the reporting.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff. Evan Smith, keep talking to your sources and do what you can to help us understand this. I think we'll be coming back to you. I can tell you, for all the lawyers who are listening to me right now, who are going to understand what I'm about to tell you, this is from the Supreme Court of Texas. Orders pronounced. A stay is issued in the following petition for writ of mandamus in re-state of Texas from Dallas County. The district court's order granting emergency petition to extend voting hours issued today in cause number styled Cardell Coleman in his capacity as Dallas County Democratic Party chair versus Paul Adams in his official capacity as Dallas County Elections Administrator in the 162nd District Court, Dallas County, Texas, is stayed, meaning the earlier ruling that was in place that extended Dallas County voting, that order is stayed. And then here's the money quote. Voting should occur only as permitted by Texas Election Code Section 41-032. Votes cast by voters who were not in line to vote at 7 p.m. local time should be separated. Note, the petition for writ of mandamus remains pending before this court.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely fucking wild. Because if you take the candidates out of the picture, just think about the honest confusion to the voters, right? Was it Republican voters that only knew that they were supposed to go to the precincts? Or were they disenfranchised by this as well? I think it's really sickening to this point, right? We're going to get to Ken Paxton's speech.
Take the seat back from the swamp and return it to the people of Texas. This is our moment, and I cannot thank you enough for your prayers, for your hard work, for your vote, and for your belief in me.
God bless you, God bless this great state of Texas, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.
Gonna go to Jasmine Crockett next on this one. I don't think it's the same one we already seen. Hopefully it's not.
Very much for being here. Love you down. I love you down, Dallas.
What the hell's going on with this? These feeds are ass. Need some better feeds, y'all. We just seen that walk across. The volume on here is horrible. It's actually what we already heard. Just another angle. No lie. There's really like no good updates on this whistle. Wait a minute. Al Green movie? Wait a minute. Al Green is losing? Wait a minute. Not after just holding up the sign against Trump. Oh, black people aren't apes. That's crazy. That's wild. We'll jump to that real quick. Let's go to that.
Tote and Crenshaw, and now the same day matching the early. So let's return to the Democratic Senate primary here.
We have another legal update from our colleagues here at NBC, this time on Williamson County. A similar situation played out to Dallas County there, where there were folks who I guess were able to vote after the original poll closing time, and the new legal guidance there is their ballots should also be kind of put to the side or pending further review.
This is going to be a lawsuit.
The
Williamson County, similar situation to Dallas.
The ones who didn't show up at the precinct, at the correct precinct.
The ones who were not in line to vote at 7 p.m., but still voted after 7 p.m.
Okay, I see what you're saying. We're in a big hole in two big places on this map right here. I mean, it's these are the. We did get Brazoria. Okay, and we got Brazoria. Okay, so Crockett winning the early vote there, and you could see. Okay, that she nets, 5,400 votes here, Gulf Coast,
7,000.
and yeah, she was able to. Meanwhile, Talarico has countered that in small ways. I mean, again, like we've talked about this. It's not going to add up to a ton of votes, but it will add up to something. And, winning all these, sort of small counties, small town counties here. And for Talarico, what that means is Crockett, gets a nice little boost out of Brazoria, and he offsets it by, netting small amounts out of like 10 of these. So continues to lead by that wide margin. We're not going to find out anything in Williamson soon, it looks like. We're not going to find out more in Dallas soon. Those are the two big pieces, puzzle pieces that are left here. Again, I think like in Harrison County, we have nothing. It's a small size, but there's, I think a small city, Crockett can do well there. And I mean, this is like we've been going for 4 hours right here, and now
I think they're trying to hold it because it's too close, but that 70,000 is still a big lead at this point, right? To be fair. And when you look at that, from some of the counties that are breaking 60-40, Talarico way, 60-40, Jasmine Crockett's way, I don't think it's enough counties supporting Jasmine Crockett to do it, which goes back to the poll, which goes back to my Substack article about college-educated Democrats for voting Jasmine Crockett out of office, ending her political career in Congress, right? And to this point, the Emerson College poll is true. Now, the spread isn't as far as they said it would be. It was within the margin of error. But right now, that margin of error is quietly showing that the same demographics that are in these communities, that are in these rural towns, the rural parts of Texas, are there. And again, I'm kind of leaning on the fact of the Supreme Court is watching this right now, and they're going to say, okay, cool. Is the Louisiana versus Calais case true? Does this prove that white Democrats and Hispanic Democrats prefer not having a black candidate on their ballot? Because if this happens statewide, what happens overall? And look at the Republicans. Look at it. Wesley Hunt, the black candidate on the Republican side, dead last in the three-man race. They have 1.2 million voters over his 200,000. This should be a wake-up call to all blacks, whether you elected Democrat or elected Republican. When the shit gets down to that ballot box, election day, people are going to show you how the fuck they really feel. That's the difference. That's the damn difference right now. That case in Louisiana is going to have a major impact. This election night, Talarico went in Texas, being the nominee, knowing that Texas, as people say, Texas has the most amount of black people there. and 40% Hispanic. So they're majority minority state. And they still didn't pick the black candidate. That's the story tonight. To me. I'm gonna have it on, I'll break that on my Substack. But again, Wesley Hunt, I don't know what you thought you were doing. Paxton, like looking at this, the Emerson College poll said that Jasmine Crockett would beat Ken Paxton. Most likely, very close race. But both candidates lose to John Cornyn. Do you think these 1.2 million Texans that came out for this Republican primary are going to support James Talarico now? Come on now.
With those numbers Adam's describing, but he's not on pace to cut into it enough.
Don't see
We'll
it.
see if those numbers adjust. One way they might, I'm just seeing, do we have any? Yeah, this will help him with the same day, I think. Montgomery County, where the Woodlands are. Let's go over to the Democratic race. Let me just ask, do we have anything new in these House races?
No, not a ton new in the House races. We've gotten a trickle in Texas 23 and some of these smaller
I'm gonna pull
counties.
this Al Green race. Hold on.
But yeah, still waiting for major updates.
Okay. Here's what this is embarrassing. I think you know what I mean when I say I need a quick break.
You gotta take a shit.
Take a quick one. And while I'm gone, folks, I'm just gonna put up where maybe there'll be an update here. So I'll put this one. No, I'll put North Carolina 4.
He said I've been up there for hours.
That's the one where we've been getting more steady reports.
I have an update.
And
But
again,
I gotta take a shit.
this is sort of the ball
I'll be
game
back
here
in
right
front of
now.
commercial.
This is Wake County, okay? We think there's probably about 6,000 votes left here, and Alana's got to win them overwhelmingly if she wants to catch Fushi. There may be more. Okay, clear for the break. I'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, he got it. Right. Gotta go take that shit, man. Y'all heard him? Hey, I know it's. I've been up there for hours. This nigga, y'all know we live, but we gotta take a shot. But y'all gotta take a shot. Anyway, Al Green lose. I'm gonna get to another stream. Give me 1 second. I don't know.
Texas is going to a runoff according to our NBC News projection here. So, to the point that we're making around the table here with Ryan and Garrett, you see we've got about 57% of the vote in. And Senator John Cornyn, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton will be advancing, which means this thing's going till the end of May, folks. That's how this is going to go down. This is, I don't think, a surprise for anybody involved. I will say in some of my conversations with both campaigns, I asked a little bit about Democrats. Are you even thinking about what that Democratic race would look like? And I think the focus on a potential runoff, and here we are projecting, in fact, it will be a runoff. Let me bring in Steve Kornacki now, who's following it. Not a shocker, but maybe where the numbers landed is what's a bit surprising here to the point that we're making.
Yeah, I mean, look, about 60% in Cornyn ahead here by 3 points. Keep in mind, this is basically, most of this is early vote, although what we've been tracking, we keep saying, what's the difference between the early vote and the same-day vote? So as the rest of this comes in, is it going to move? There's not a ton of same-day vote that's come in, but the same-day vote so far that's come in has been 43-40 for Paxton. And in those same places where it's come in, where that same day's come in, it had been 43-40 Cornyn in the early. So let's see if there's a trend that develops there. It's too early to say here. But I mean, I think, look, so much of this now is just about positioning for this runoff. Obviously, we've talked about,
this is early before he had to take a shot.
Donald Trump to come off the sidelines.
Really?
He wants to go to a runoff. What does Donald Trump want to see? He wants to see a candidate, I think, who has a chance to win, right? So how much will how these two finish relative to each other drive that decision by Trump? Can Cornyn finish ahead of Paxton tonight? Yeah. They're both going to runoff, but can he finish ahead? And can he make the case that he's got more life here than maybe some folks had thought, versus finishing behind Paxton and having to say, well, I'll make up for it in the runoff, where I couldn't do in a preliminary.
And Steve, just walk us through what it looks like, because we're just talking to Phil in Dallas, who kind of mapped out the fact that John Cornyn's a strong closer here. where was, I mean, and I understand we're still counting the vote, and this is very close, and it's all going to a runoff. But again, here he is with a narrow lead, which is, Ryan's pointing out, no one expected that.
Yeah, I mean, look, a couple of places here. We figured that he was going to run the best. We figured he was going to run the best right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and right around the Austin area. And by the way, I think worth pointing out here, we don't have any of the vote. This is true on the Democratic side and on the Republican side. I think he's going to do very well in this county, Williamson County, right outside of Austin. So that could certainly help.
Yeah, this is clearly earlier. They have better numbers up now. Let me see if bro back from taking a shit. Oh yeah, he back. Not bad. There we go.
Where did we get it, Adam? I see it's up to 85. Did we get some good size updates somewhere? I see.
Collin County, Ellis County,
same
3,000 votes. Yeah.
Okay.
Harrison County.
Okay. Harrison must have been good for
we
Crockett.
got a little bit out of
Collin. Yeah. This is like, okay, same day coming in here in the Metroplex. And again, like, here's a good example. Collin County, we talked about all these benchmarks at the start of the night. And now you can see, like, the same day in Collin County. This is a big one, just north of Dallas. It's going very well for Talarico. His lead now over Crockett in this county is nearly 15 points. Again, to give you a sense of it, the benchmark that I put here for Crockett, I felt she needed to get to 50% in this county, and it's.
Fuck out of here. Are you being? Do you even fucking hear yourself? I know it's live, but it's like 50%. Who is gonna go split down the middle? Get out of here, bro.
It's going the wrong way for her here. She's now down in the low 40s with Talarico apparently winning the same day.
What MSNBC is doing right now is they don't want to admit what's the writing on the wall. I'm heartbroken about it too. I'm just a realist, so I was prepared for it when I saw the first poll 3 weeks ago.
Vote. So again, he's made incursions. Big part of the story tonight is he's made incursions into her turf. Just look next door in Denton County. This should move next door to Denton County, where we got 3/4. Again, that's I think he's pretty much maintained that level all night there. We did get. Did I hear we got Harrison? Okay, yeah. Again, so I was kind of waiting on this one.
But look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. That's 2,000 votes. So even though he's like, yeah, look at the smile. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, she did great here. This is what we need. It's like that's 2,000 votes compared to what you just showed. It doesn't eat into the 70,000 at all.
It's 3,000 votes. It's a big. It's a 1,600 vote plurality. Again, there's a large black population here. East Texas. We said Crockett was going to do very well in East Texas tonight. She certainly has done very well in East Texas tonight. But again, Talarico, just by running up the kind of score he is,
69%,
kind of across the map
68%?
here, it's just he continues to build that.
It's over,
85,000 right now. On the Republican side, in the Senate race there, where again, now it's down, okay, now it's 1.6. 1.6, 25,000 votes and change, separating Cornyn and Paxton. And Adam, do we have any more clarity on the same day early vote split in this Republican race? Because I see some more ticking in here.
Just overall, we're at about 230,000. Paxton 42, Cornyn 40.
So it's not okay. So yeah, no, it continues. Look, Paxton's within 25,000 votes, but only winning that same day 42-40 in our current running tally of it, and that was 42-40, and the comp for the early was still like 43, 44, 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that's. I mean, that's the ball game here. Paxton is trying with same day votes to. Did I just see some movement in Texas 23? Is trying with same-day votes to overcome the lead that Cornyn established with the early vote, to try to be able to come out of this preliminary by saying, hey, I got more votes than a four-term incumbent senator. Nothing can stop me now in the runoff. Cornyn, boy, this would be a political coup for him if he could.
We got another 1,500 in Wake in North Carolina.
Okay, let's go back. This is big. What does that NC4 race look like? I'm guessing it was about even.
Yeah, it was Alam 49, Fushi 46.
Wow. Okay, Wake, you heard Adam. I don't need to repeat it. What are we saying is left there? There can't be more than.
Yeah, they're all about 95% in. So
we're just looking for scattered remaining votes here.
Scattered remaining votes.
Jeez, Fushi, you just we've done like
The
five.
to be that close. It's crazy.
We've done like 5 updates here in the last hour here, and ultimately, I'd say all 5 of those updates have been good for Fushi. This is not a landslide, but she's up 1,200 votes, and really, Alam is just running out of places to find any more here. Fushi is just every one of these updates. She has done just enough to stay ahead in this race. So, there is a scattering of votes left here. Our decision desk is trying to figure out exactly what that total is. But that margin, with the scale, with the small number of votes left, very small, that 1,200 number, it starts to look pretty big for Fushi. So we talk about endangered incumbents. She might be one who's breathing a bit of something close to a sigh of relief right now. They have just said to my ear.
Yeah, coming up for a News Now hit.
We're doing a News Now. Okay, what do they want to talk about? We didn't get to the other House primaries with them. Do they want to do that?
Man, they just
when I last talked to them, it was updating.
Oh, Jesse's
I was the only one doing that shit.
Okay.
They got a whole setup.
Yeah, we had.
I'm gonna go to Talarico live. We got a report there. See what's going on, man. I don't think James hit the stage yet.
Is dying down here in Dallas after Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett addressed her supporters saying she would no longer be speaking tonight. She came out to provide some comments about what was happening with this chaos in Dallas County when it comes to voting. Many voters were confused, didn't know where they could vote following some new rule changes that were instituted by the county's Republican Party. Earlier in the night, a lower court saw the confusion and actually extended the period of which the polls will be open from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. But then later, the Texas Supreme Court has stayed that lower court order and now is telling county officials to separate the votes from anyone who got in line after 7 p.m. So that now those votes are kind of up in limbo. We don't know if they will be thrown out or if they ultimately will be counted. This is what the Congresswoman had to say about this chaos.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do.
They cheat all the time.
And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why.
Dallas County, of course, a very important county because it's the home base for Congresswoman Crockett. She was hoping for a big turnout to boost her numbers in the polls. I did speak with a spokesperson for the campaign who did tell me that they are confused. They have questions as to how county officials will determine who was in line before 7 or who was in line after 7. A lot will have to play out in the courts, but we do know we most likely will not know the results of the Democratic Senate primary by tonight. Reporting in Dallas, I'm Dylan McKim.
Oh, that's wild, y'all. Because you would really think, respectfully, you want like results before midnight, right? All the technology we have, it doesn't even make sense. It really doesn't.
Let's show you the results. I want to go back and touch on the Senate race, obviously, with Crockett and Talarico. Yeah. This is, to say the least, maybe a little bit of a surprise, right? As we get here at this point of the night, still waiting on some more Dallas County results?
I don't know that it's a surprise because when you look at the last 3 polls in this race, it showed that Talarico was surpassing 50%. And so,
but you and I at the same time had talked about how much do we put into polls nowadays, because sometimes we come out of a poll and we steer in the other direction.
But in this case, I think the polls were accurate because they were a late indicator of what was actually going on in this race. These polls came after the big Stephen Colbert interview, which really throttled him forward.
Yeah, and as you said just a few moments ago, obviously, if Crockett doesn't pull back Talarico below 50%, it's going to be over.
Yes.
Amelia Magavro, by the way, at James Talarico's watch party in Austin tonight. Let's take the temperature inside there. Gotta imagine they are feeling really good about what they're seeing.
People are waiting with bated breath, that is for sure, here at this watch party here in Austin. We're actually waiting for James Talarico to say a few remarks. We're told that he should be speaking here soon, so we're waiting on that. But in the meantime, of course, this is all following that Texas Supreme Court ruling that potentially could block that voting extension in Dallas County, like you mentioned. It's interesting, though, because James Talarico actually sided with Jasmine Crockett, calling for that extension with all the voter confusion up there in Dallas County. He actually said in part earlier this evening, we are calling for an extension of voting hours to ensure all Texas's voice are heard in this critical election. That was his remarks earlier this evening. So it'll be interesting what he has to say following all this drama in this already closely watched contentious race. And it'll be interesting to see what the supporters here also have to say. I talked to some of them earlier today, and they said that he is actually the candidate that they believe will flip this U.S. Senate seat blue. They believe that he will get the job done in November. And so they're very excited with how this drama is playing out, with how this primary election is playing out. So we'll see if this actually turns out in his favor. Back to you.
So in a question, what happened here in a word, directly from the mouth of a person who was standing here, a supporter of Jasmine Crockett, they described it as painful. Jasmine Crockett came out on the stage. We thought we were about to get a briefing, kind of midway through the night, just as campaigns go. Hey, hi, here's where things stand. I'll be back later, but that was not the case. She laid it out step by step, exactly what happened. There was the voters who couldn't get to the right precinct, and that led to the push for the judge. But the judge in this case was a county judge, and that was not a judicial order. And that's what sent things to the state Supreme Court, and they said, no, he couldn't extend it. He could not do that order, and they stopped the vote. So she said up on the stage, she just doesn't know how you stop the votes at 7 o'clock and separate them and count them. So they're trying to figure that out, and certainly she and her team are trying to put this together. She told the people to go home because she would not come back out and speak as they try to figure out what to do next.
This is tough for the Crockett fans. Let's get back to this live
That's
update
the
here.
exact same margin that Herrera won this county by in 2024. So earlier, Gonzalez had been leading here. Now Herrera's pulled ahead. We'll see if there's any more vote to come from there. But between starting to lead the same-day vote in Bexar County, pulling ahead in Medina County, these together are the two biggest puzzle pieces in the district. Those are very good pieces of news for Brandon Herrera, who also is overperforming in the third largest piece of the district, Uvalde County, relative to how he did in 2024. He's dramatically overperforming there tonight. So that's actually three pieces of good news for Brandon Herrera, though, again, remains very close here. And I've been saying this all night, and I'm still waiting here on Valverde County. It's not huge, but it's probably 6% of the vote in this district. We're waiting on any kind of a report from there. But I think, look, where this is, you can see, where is this going to be settled? Is what started in that first report from the same day in Bexar County, is that the trend? Is that the story? Is Herrera winning the same day in Bexar? If he is, he can make that 878 up no problem. Or as we get more same day, are there parts here that are going to be stronger for Gonzalez where he can turn that around? But Gonzalez, boy, it was a squeaker in 24. And it is an absolute squeaker for him tonight in those Bexar County same-day updates. Boy, when we get the next one, I don't know when that's going to be. It's huge. It's huge. Okay, so that was Texas 23. Texas 2, we're still sitting there. Texas 18. I think we don't have anything new here. We're not going to get new in 33, I don't think, anytime soon. North Carolina 4, I'm just checking in if anything's changed. Do we have any more insight on remaining vote in North Carolina 4 or any update from the decision desk on Texas 2?
No update on Texas 2. North Carolina 4, there's estimates that, they're basically done, but, we got to wait till, we got to check in with them overnight and into tomorrow before the decision desk makes a call on that race.
Okay, so that's important. I mean, we're talking about North Carolina 4 kind of wrapping up, but that's still close enough that there's, they're going to cross all their dot all their I's and cross all their T's. So no call maybe till tomorrow. But you could see a guy you'd rather be Fushi looking at this. Certainly, everything we know about this race than Alam. So they are. I'm looking at the clock. It's 11:53 right now. What is the plan here?
We're wrapping up Kornacki Kim at 11:59. The feed will switch over to Here's the Scoop, and we'll get mixed in with the Here's the Scoop podcast. And
okay, so I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Am I going up to? Okay. So I'm gonna stay here.
All right.
I said I'll do them till we get results. We're entering into this weird place where they're gonna kind of end without an official result. So I don't know how we're gonna. I don't know what we committed to there. But we're gonna go to Newsnet to the Here's the Scoop podcast at midnight. I'm gonna keep doing updates as we get them. So let's just kind of wrap up with. Well, I don't know. What did you folks think of this? It's been 4 hours, and it's been 4.5 hours. We haven't done something like this really before. It's what do you want them to do? Leave the comments in YouTube? Is that sort of
sure?
Leave the comments in YouTube. What worked? What didn't? Do they want to see this again? Can it be improved? Does it need a new host? Let us know what you thought of it, though. I'm curious, and I guess I just thank you for not to stop with the election results and get gushy, but thank you, for watching. Like this was a very fun thing for me to do because I think you maybe got a sense of it tonight. It's like you only have so much time when you do these hits on air, and there's so much you want to kind of say and get across, and so it's been a chance to really.
I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna go to another race. Rep.
The eyes are on the marquee Senate primaries this evening. We are watching a ton of other races as well, with Representative Christian Menefee giving his colleague and fellow Democrat Representative Al Green his first competitive primary fight in years. Here you see with 67.6% of the vote in, he has a narrow lead. Christian Menefee over Al Green. This race won a test of redistricting, also a test of generations. Christian Menefee 37, Al Green 78. He's just shy of that 50% needed to avoid a runoff. But again, folks, we have not called this race yet. They're still counting the votes. And joining us now is one of those candidates, Congressman Christian Menefee. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. You were just sworn in last month. Take us inside this race, because Congressman Al Green has been laser focused on an anti-Trump message. He was even ejected from the State of the Union. What is your closing argument, Congressman?
I'm the only candidate in this race who has fought back against Donald Trump and actually won. During my time as county attorney for the third largest county in the country, I took the Trump administration to court multiple times and beat them. And I think what people are looking for in this moment is not symbolic fights, not cosmetic fights for the purpose of making noise, but fights that are really going to lead to a change in people's lives. When I beat the Trump administration, it was to protect healthcare programs right here in Harris County as our country becomes more and more unaffordable. So I'm excited. We're in a great position in this race, and I look forward to the rest of the results coming in.
We don't have to tell you in your race, is this question of generational change, an argument that you've been making, obviously, and an argument that has some resonance here inside the Democratic Party writ large. Help us understand the case that you're trying to make to your district here.
What I've been talking about is how we need new and fresh strategies to fight back against the Trump administration and a Republican majority in Congress, which is seated all of their power to the executive branch. And when I talk to people out in the street, that's exactly what they're saying, that they want the baton to be passed and that they're ready for new leadership that's going to take this district into the future.
Oh,
so I
man.
look forward to continuing that fight. We've run an exclusively positive campaign focused on how I'm going to make life better for folks in the 18th Congressional District. And what's so incredible to me is I have never represented the vast majority of this district. I just got sworn in a few weeks ago. 60% of this district comes from Congressman Green's old district, yet we are still in first place.
Because people are tired of these old Negroes who want to serve in elected offices until they die. Alcee Hastings, rest in peace. What are we talking about? Sheila Jackson Lee, rest in peace. Don't you think that there's a contingent of young voters, older voters, voters in general, black, white, and different, who are like, damn, bro, why you gotta die in office? Why has that gotta be a part of your legacy? And Al Green, respectfully, bro, all you've done is make noise. I'm gonna impeach Trump, impeach Trump. Bitch, don't you think impeaching Trump is done? It's dead. Why the fuck are you still going? The issue is, and I work for a member the same way, they're talking about Al Lawson running for mayor. Please sit your ass down, bro, all due respect. It gets to the point of saying, people don't want to see y'all ass die out in office. Go spend time with your family. You don't get this time back. That's what everybody says. Dana White even says, hey, I hope that you don't work for me from 9 to 5. You don't have to be to work at 9 o'clock. Go to the picnic. Go spend time with your family. Do it. Don't miss those moments. And what you have are the children of the civil rights movement who have been marching this plight the whole time because it's all intertwined in together. All these Negroes are Jack and Jill babies together, right? And what happens is, yeah, you can serve. You are first state representative, the first one since Reconstruction, our first senator since Reconstruction, our first congressman to represent this area since Reconstruction, since the 1990 redistricting. And they've all decided that they don't want to do nothing but die in this position. They want to die in office. And you know what happens when they die in office? You get a motherfucker like Sheila McCormick, takes $5 million in FEMA money and runs for Congress. And gets indicted on the shit. And then they're kicked out of Congress. Because you want to sit here and chase some shit for some clickbait and a title instead of doing the damn job. We need younger people to carry the torch and realize that you cannot just lean on fucking racism. You need fucking results. People want results. They don't want bullshit. And I think, honestly, respectfully, Al Green and other members of the CBC, please get the fuck up out of Congress before you die in office. Nobody want to see your old ass up there. We tired of just having the Texas party, the Florida party, people coming to DC just to suck dick and eat pussy. To be fair, I heard that's what y'all be doing in partying, right? We need young blood that's going to teach people. Like, you know what? If y'all coming to the CBC, if y'all coming to DC, we need to have workshops to teach people how to pass policy in their states at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level. Job feeder programs, training candidates to learn how to speak and not just go viral. There needs to be a whole boot camp on these things. But you'd rather suck dick, eat pussy, and party.
And I only have 3 weeks to my name in Congress. I think that's a testament to the work that we've done, to the hard campaign that we're running, and I look forward to the rest of the results coming in.
So then what do you say to the argument that your opponent is making that experience matters here, that you got to be in the fight to take the fight to the White House?
The experience hasn't gotten as much. Despite all this experience that we've seen in Congress, the president is still launching an unsanctioned war on a foreign nation. Despite all this experience that we're supposedly seeing in Congress, America is still becoming more and more unaffordable while the president runs roughshod on our Constitution, on our laws, and on our norms. We would see the president being reined in, but we're not seeing that, and that's why people are ready to change directions.
I told you. I just told y'all people tired of these old motherfuckers in office who just promise, yeah, we're going to get this done, we're going to get this done. Y'all ain't doing shit but spinning the block on racism. And the younger generation is tired of this shit, bro. I've been sick of this shit for about at least 7-10 years. Like, damn, everything's racism? I ain't seen a nigga get lynched yet. I'm just saying.
Of course, we know that there is a partial government shutdown.
Like it used to be.
A number of Republicans making the argument it's time to end that government shutdown, not funding DHS because of potential fights and threats here to the homeland. What do you make of that argument? Would you reopen and vote to fund DHS given the war in Iran and these potential for increased threats?
I would not. You don't get to violate the Constitution and then try to back your way into forcing funding of an agency that has terrorized people in our communities, including executing several people on the street in Minnesota. Congress needs to take back its power and do the thoughtful and appropriate thing, which is require that before the President of the United States can launch military strikes abroad, putting American troops at risk, and effectively declaring war on another nation, he must come to Congress and get permission. I think the argument that Republicans are making there is cowardly, and we should be focused on ensuring that the president is held accountable and is abiding by the Constitution.
You think
Go
ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when you look at the numbers here, Congressman, and Kristen mentioned them at the top of this discussion here, do you think you will be, if you in fact hold on to this lead, do you think you'll be able to avoid a runoff? What are your internal showing on where this goes tonight?
There is no crystal ball in politics. What I'll tell you is that we have heard from folks throughout our communities, and the responses have been fantastic. People are excited about the change, and I'm up against a 20-year incumbent, and I just got elected to Congress a few weeks ago, yet we are in first place. I think what you're clearly saying is things are moving in a different direction. It is my hope that we hit 50% tonight, but even if we don't, I think a message has been sent loud and clear that folks are ready for change.
Let me just ask you about the Senate race, if I could. A Democrat hasn't won a Senate seat in Texas for more than 3 decades, as you know, Congressman. Who do you think is the stronger candidate to win in a general election? James Talarico or Jasmine Crockett? And do you think Democrats can actually do it?
Both James and Jasmine have different strengths that I think are going to put us in a fantastic position to flip the state of Texas. I know that race is incredibly close right now. Both of them are dear friends, and I know that their heart is in the right place, and they will do everything they can to flip this state. My commitment is, regardless of who wins that race, I will be boots on the ground across the state of Texas, activating voters so that we can take it to John Cornyn, Ken Paxton, or whatever other crazy Republican comes out of that primary and flip this state.
I liked him before he got to that point, because you got to be for real. People who saw the numbers realize this is a long shot. Both of their strengths are there. James Talarico, get the white votes, Hispanic votes. You don't really need the black votes. And tonight proved it. And this is just Democrats voting. Closed primaries. So just imagine the real take of this is like, damn, let's get back to an update on these numbers.
One, he has made incursions into Jasmine Crockett's backyard. So the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, really around here, her political base is in Dallas. Like 30% of the vote is going to come out of here. But you can see it's not all Crockett's blue here. You got Talarico blue too, north of Dallas. These are big pieces of real estate. Collin County, Denton County, right next door. These are double-digit Talarico margins here. You know, the suburbs here, where you got a lot of college-educated professionals here. Talarico doing very well, able to put some wins on the board in these counties in Crockett's backyard. Also,
it's not Crockett's backyard. These are the same people, again, that were polled, that show that college-educated Democrats, again, were not supporting Jasmine Crockett. Now the question is why? Why are white liberals, 40-year-old college-educated white Hispanic people living in Texas and living throughout the state, living throughout the country, Democrats, why don't they support black candidates statewide? That's the issue. The primary issue that Democrats need to wake up and see tonight, especially my black candidates out there, right? Ask yourselves, and the Democratic Party, why are we only good for the races that you feel are cut for us, the majority minority seats? Why can't we be the candidate statewide? Because you know, those college-educated Democrats, the elitists that talk down to you essentially, they don't want to vote for a black candidate. That's the reality. Every black candidate, every black elected official, every black Democrat needs to wake up and say, like, damn, These crackers really don't want me. So why the fuck am I pushing the super liberal, super progressive policies? These the same motherfuckers that's not going to support you when you decide to run statewide or for higher office. This is a fucking wake up call. You niggas better wake up before your fucking term limits hit. Okay? The fuck is wrong with y'all?
Also, he's rolled up massive margins around Austin, his political base, and I think there was some question here about where the Hispanic vote would go. Well, it's very clear. Take a look at South Texas here, where you've got some heavily Hispanic counties right on the border, where Brownsville is Cameron County.
Come on. Hispanic voters we've seen in Florida, Miami-Dade, and Orlando. We've seen what will happen here with Democrats, especially with black candidates. Come on now, next.
Almost a 30-point Talarico margin. McAllen here, Hidalgo, more than 2-1. Go up to Webb County where Laredo is, more than 2-1. Go out to West Texas, you know, again, almost 30 points in El Paso.
They putting damn near 30 on my girl. That's an ass whooping in every league.
County very consistent here. It's clear Talarico's won the Hispanic vote. He's won it big. It's why he's been able to, throughout the night, really build this lead statewide. You know, Crockett has had Dallas County, lots of issues in Dallas County, I know, but we have more than half the vote in from there. She did well. She didn't do as well as I think she wanted to. She's done very well in East Texas, where there's a large black population. She's doing good in Harris County, where Houston is. But again, that lead she has there only translates to about a 16,000 vote plurality. She's facing a deficit of over 100,000 here.
The race is over. There's not 100,000 more votes to go get. I'm probably going to keep streaming. But there's not 100,000 more votes to go get. People are going to say, oh yeah, Trump done drawn her out. Yep, she gone. Crockpot gone. But I think the deeper question, it really opens up two things that I'll say. I'm going to try to watch my time, see if I get a good clipping on it. First thing it opens up is the Supreme Court case, Louisiana versus Calais case, that says that majority minority districts disenfranchise white Democratic voters because they aren't making white precincts or white districts in West Virginia for the Democrats there. They're only doing it for black people. But studies show that white voters and Hispanic voters who happen to be Democrat do not prefer voting for a black candidate. That's one. So again, like I said earlier on stream, the Supreme Court is watching this. The Supreme Court is going to say, all right, cool. You see what happened in Texas. We have a majority minority state and you have two candidates and one of them has more than clickbait, more than a Google Trends. People know who she is, especially in her home state of Texas. They just found out about this James Talarico guy. But he goes on Stephen Colbert. He goes on Joe Rogan. He makes the news cycles, then the polls hit and show that, you know what? College-educated Democrats over the age of 40, white and Hispanic, prefer James Talarico over Jasmine Crockett. Let that sink in for all my black Democrats elected across the country again. I want every black elected official across the country to wake up tomorrow and realize, damn, again, why the fuck are we pushing these liberal ass, progressive ass policies when these niggas don't want us? Sorry, when these crackers don't want us. Do you know that black political power is only supported by white donors? Black political power does not exist. Black political power does not exist without white donors. Think about that. They're never supporting candidates statewide. This is the party that black women back. Guess what? Up until you decide to run statewide. When you decide to run statewide, hey, hold on now. I think the majority minority districts get redrawn. I think the Supreme Court takes out the provision of the Voting Rights Act now based on the election results in Texas. I'm not supporting it, but I'm telling you it's going to fucking happen. Because they're looking at a fact of, you know what? in a race like this, in a situation like this, the white Democrats, the Hispanic Democrats preferred the white candidate over the black candidate. And again, my black elected officials, my black Democrats need to wake up tomorrow and be like, well, damn, why the fuck am I pushing these progressive policies? Why am I sitting here not going to get no reparations for my people? Not going to get what the fuck I want. I got to do everything for everybody. Bitch, I need to do it for me. And people that are looking for me to do it, because guess what? When people get into that voting booth, they don't care what the fuck you did. They're going to vote their fucking conscience on who the fuck they want based on their decisions. And even though Jasmine Crockett would have had closer races against John Cornyn and Ken Paxton in every poll, for some odd reason, Democrats still said, you know what, I got to go with James Talarico, who was polling at least 5 points behind every Republican candidate. I just want black people to wake up. I just want the niggas to wake up. I just want the black people and the niggas to wake up, because they're two different people, and say, you know what? If we gonna do this politics thing, we need to do this shit fucking right, because these Democrats, why the fuck we pushing all that shit? Why are we pushing men and women sports? Because it's a progressive issue. Okay, cool. Why are we pushing issues that don't really impact our quality of life? Gentrification, taking care of grandmama's house. What are we talking about? Simple things, healthcare, jobs. And the shit about it is, my girl Jasmine Crockett has went to bat for damn near every Democratic policy. Went up one side of Marjorie Taylor Greene, down the next side. Fought Trump at every step of the way. Energized people, educated people, not only about the shutdown, but the impact. Had a live streams, everything. It's not just to be upset about it. It's to say, honestly, none of that shit mattered.
Clock it.
None of that shit mattered, dog. None of it. I'm into my stream tonight. Because I'm not disappointed Jasmine Crockett lost. I'm disappointed people really thought that racism within the Democratic Party didn't exist when they support these progressive ass fucking policies. That's where I'm at, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in tonight.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night.
I'm not even asking for subscribers.
No, I gave you everything I had.
I appreciate every single one.